Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Sao Paulo for 2014, the penultimate stop on our Season 8 tour of the world for the Intel Extreme Masters. We have one more to go, which is in 2 weeks' time in Cologne, before the World Championship takes place in March in Katowice at the Spodek Arena.
Então é isso aí, bem-vindos a mais um dia de Intel Extreme Masters. Vamos para o Grupo B agora. E essa é a penúltima parada antes de ir para a Colônia e depois para o Mundial.
It's time now for Group B after a very interesting Group A is now done. So let's show you how Group B looks via the bracket. 4 new players into this bracket. As you can see, it's a dual tournament format. We'll start with TLO versus Shakti from Brazil, and then Hello Kitty from America versus MC.
Então é isso aí, vocês estão vendo aí os 4 jogadores do Grupo B. Vai começar com TLO, o The Little One, Shakti, e depois Hello Kitty contra o famoso MC.
So let's introduce you to the 2 players who take place in our first game of Group B. As we said, it's a dual tournament format, so the winner goes through to the winners' final for the first opportunity to qualify for the quarterfinals. We've already got 2 players there, of course, from Group A. Group B, the final group of the day. Our first player is a local player qualifying through the open bracket yesterday. He is Brazil's own, he is Shakti.
Então aí mostrando o Shakti, um dos jogadores que tem uma chance de ir para a final aí, se ele vencer o Little One, já avançando no bracket.
And he goes head-to-head with Germany's favourite Zerg. That's right, Hasselhoff didn't get upset with me. It is, of course, the one and only TLO.
Então aí o Zerg favorito da Alemanha, TLO.
So as we head into this ZVZ, it's time to hand it over to our commentary teams in both Portuguese and in English.
Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back to the caster's desk for the start of Group B here at the Intel Extreme Masters Sao Paulo, as we have a fan favorite TLO going up against a relative unknown in Shakti.
That's right. Shakti qualified through yesterday's open bracket without dropping a single series. He was one of the first to advance through. And the rumours backstage here, when we've asked and kind of talked about the players that made it into the top 16, is that he is top 3 Brazilian player at the moment. So he is a decent player. Is he going to be able to topple a player like TLO, though, who, of course, is, as Red Eye said, well known?
Very, very well known. In fact, TLO for 2013, I would say he had quite a successful 2013. He finished 3rd top highest foreigner in WCS ranking, only 250 points behind Scarlet. And I think he was like 7th foreigner for earnings during the whole year, earning around 22,000. So a very, very good year for TLO, I would say.
That's right. I mean, it hasn't always been as glorified as that, though, with TLO. He started off strong at the start of StarCraft 2 and, you know, had his ups and downs when it came to injuries, when it came to his performances and results. But over the last year or so, he has started to rise up again. But I think it was safe to say towards the end of 2013, he did start to dip down again. Because towards the end of 2012, beginning of last year, he was on the rise, especially with his Season 1 performance in the Premier League. But in Season 2 and 3, only making it to the round of 32, not advancing out of Premier League into the next level, was a little bit of a disappointment for him, as he was in the running to make it to BlizzCon for the first season, coming into the second one. But he goes up now against this player on screen, Shakti, as mentioned. He went undefeated, lost a single map yesterday in the open bracket, but undefeated apart from that, just 16 years of age. Unlike the majority of Brazilian players, teamless. None of them really have teams. StarCraft isn't obviously a massive game here in Brazil, but he is decently ranked. He's top 8 or top 16, I think it is, in the North American Master League.
And I think ultimately, you know, a lot of these Brazilian players that we see coming through are very, very young, which is nice to see. You know, they still have a lot of potential to grow if they stick with things. But at the same time, going up against someone like TLO here in the first series, that's a rough position to be in. It's a rough for most of these Brazilian players going into these groups.
Yeah, I mean, the lovely one here, as we can see on screen, is definitely a favourite to advance from this group. Absolutely. Of course, Group B here consisting of TLO and Shakti, but also the American Hello Kitty and the Boss Toss himself.
Oh yeah, Boss Toss with his lovely new hairdo, looking to punish some of these guys in this group and then move on.
But let's not hope the lonely one, you know, gets overrun, maybe feels overconfident here in game 1. It is his first, you know, it is his debut in 2014 having not played. This is the first major tournament of 2014. Let's see how it goes.
All right, well, spawning up to the north position here as our red Zerg. Representing Brazil, he is Shakti. And we have a pause for a second.
Yeah, it looks like the losing one here has decided to pause for a second. And we'll get this game underway. I think it's quite clear to say, though, that this should be a TLO victory. Anything else would be classified as an upset here. Into Extreme Master Sao Paulo. Great to see the Brazilian players, though, making an effort. Open bracket full, apart from one dropout, which allowed the CJ coach to get in there. But we'll see. We'll see if a Brazilian can take a game against one of the other players.
And speaking of which, he shall be playing tomorrow, Mr. Trott from CJ Entus. But guys, obviously spawning down to the south as our blue Zerg, representing Team Liquid, it's TLO.
Yeah, the lovable one here is one of a kind, I think we can say, Claris.
One of a kind, you are correct. One of a kind. And, well, unfortunately, Mr. Shakti is going to have to go up against that. And I'm curious to see how he's going to play this out, because of all the games I watched yesterday from our Brazilian players, I didn't see much ZVZ. I didn't get a chance to see too much.
Yeah, ZVZ's always been played out the same, really. There's been a couple adjustments here and there, but the pattern and the trends have always really stayed the same.
Yeah, they have. And, well, for now, we're going to see how Shakti's going to play this out. It looks like we're just going to have the spawning pool opener here from TLO. Meanwhile, Shakti's going to go for hatchery first. So, not too bad an opener in the end.
Yep, hatchery first versus spawning pool first. The difference between the two of them, it's just a preference here. Obviously, going spawning pool first allows you to be safer a little bit if there was some super aggression coming out from Shakti. And I think, the liable one here is absolutely feeling the more confident one here. He's well known, he's on a great team, plays in the Premier League, just recently qualified actually into 2014. So he's definitely should be feeling confident, which means he shouldn't be wanting to take any risks here. He's meant to be the better player, as long as he drags the game out, because obviously the longer the game goes on, the higher chance he has to actually win the game. For example, I mean, you think about it if you're a Gold League player playing against a Bronze League player. In the first 5 minutes, sometimes anything can happen. But the longer the game goes on, the more likely you're going to be able to outplay him. And that's the way that TLO should approach this series. Yeah, you're right. He is the likely one to advance on, let's be honest about all of this. I mean, well, with the hatchery now going down at the natural, it's, TLO's just going to play this out normally. He's just got out his gas on. And even, I mean, with the hatchery first, he got an opportunity to go in here and see everything with his Overlord. So, good scouting from him. Yeah, good scouting. Knows exactly what he's playing against now. Knows that it was a hatchery first into spawning pool. And can just kind of... He doesn't really need to prepare for anything from this position. He knows that his opponent will have a little bit of a faster gas, faster speed than himself. But he knows that's not going to be for quite a while. Obviously, it's not even been researched yet, so there's nothing to be afraid of from this position. So, as you can see, TLO is building nothing but drones. He doesn't want to build any Zerglings to further scout. He kind of already knows what's coming. But what I suspect from him, once he gets 100 gas, he'll get himself. I doubt he would skip the Bailey Nest. That would be a little bit risky, of course, for the things I just described before. So he should just play this out from here, and as the speed approaches for his opponent, which he knows is going to be in the next 60 seconds or so, that's when we'll start to see some more deviation from TLO. But from now, it should be just drones. Yeah, he's just keeping a good eye on the front with his Overlords, positioning them well to spot any extra links that would come along. The two links here from Shakti, very standard to be able to see what's going on because he didn't get that Overlord in initially. And he sees what he needs to see, gas being mined, etc. Yeah, Shakti is still mining with 3 drones in each gas right now, and he has got the faster Bailey Nest as well. So there's an option here that with the next Overlord that pops, he may decide to start to build a bunch of Zerglings. He could also use it defensively, though. It really depends what his next couple of units are going to be, because right now, his Zergling speed is very close to finishing, so that's when he'd build the Zerglings. But with an extra gas being taken, he's going to play defensive in this game. He's not going to be aggressive. An extra gas leads me to believe that he'll look to tech to layer quite fast. And with TLO not opting to get any Zerglings out himself, not yet at least, he has no information about this. And if Shakti does research the layer in a minute from his main base, he will take a little bit of a lead unless that gas isn't going to be thrown into tech. Is it going to be thrown into a higher Baneling count? And by the looks of it, with the high amount of Zerglings, yes it is.
Yeah, and he did push that Overlord on the right-hand side away, and the Zerglings are splitting up across this. TLO does spot these, now moving into the middle of the map, and he's going to get a good identification.
Immediately morphs 2 Banelings. He needs probably a Spine Crawler too. This is going to be quite some aggression coming out. TLO doesn't really know. I mean, he's got a bit of a wall here, barely next and Evolution Chamber. Queens can help complete that too. He's got to be careful here. TLO is still droning.
Yeah, you're right. He has to be very, very careful indeed. Evolution Chamber's just about to be added on.
Shakti is hiding the Zerglings.
Where are they all?
Well, they're all the natural and they're hiding. TLO has no vision yet, and he's still kind of droning.
Yeah, they've got to flood out at exactly the same time to make this as hard as possible for TLO. Obviously, he's always going to react when he sees a big blob moving across the map, but it's going to be a lot. There's
TLO's waiting. He's got lava to use, and he's spotted all the Zerglings now. At least they weren't drones.
And even bought a smidge of time there with those Zerglings that poked out, so this is going to give him good
TLO's cleaning out the creature here to make a wall. Excellent move.
One Baneling's going to sit in between these buildings. I tell you, I don't think they can actually slip through there.
It is a wall.
Yeah.
It is a wall.
So this should be okay.
19 Banelings though. Is TLO going to hold on to the Roach? Warren's not too far away from finishing. It's going to be important to get the Roaches out immediately. He cancels and rebuilds it.
Yeah, very, very nicely done there by him. But 19 Banelings is a lot of firepower that could break through that wall very, very quickly. And here comes that Baneling train. Where are the Zerglings to accompany it, though? He also needs those.
Oh, he doesn't want to break through Ret. He is waiting for those additional reinforcements, but that is allowing time for TLO to get the Roaches out here. And with the amount of Banelings that he has, and Roaches, and the Spire, as long as he holds on, he's in great shape.
And these Banelings now are going to try and crash through. He's using the Zerglings to maybe break that down, but there's transfuses available. He needs to bust it down quickly, because right now he's just losing Zerglings for nothing.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to use these Banelings. He doesn't want to bust through at the moment. He's decided to research layer, and obviously if TLO just keeps on holding like he's doing, he's in great position here, obviously. With the Spire down, he's got Roach speed coming in, he's got better tech, a better economy.
I think one thing that is kind of cool from our Brazilian representative here, Shakti, is that he realized it wasn't going to work, so he tries to pull back. But it's still so much of a gas investment in these Banelings that have done nothing.
And TLO is going to put the pressure on now with so many Roaches. Counterattacks is really the only way that Shakti could do damage to TLO. And in straight up fight, I think TLO is more than enough, especially with the Banelings there.
Yeah.
And Shakti, just 2 to 4 Banelings from TLO, if they connect into that high count of Banelings that Shakti has, his defense is over.
Nice little separation of one lane there forwards to try and connect with a Baneling. TLO gets fooled by it there for a second, but now all he has to do is spread these Roaches out and greet this army. This should be okay here for TLO.
Yeah, and TLO is going to bring his own Banelings to destroy all the others of Shakti, and he's going to have to surrender this third base.
And, I mean, he's down on tech, and if he gets down on this base as well, he has no advantages going into this game.
Well, the only advantages that he's got, maybe he can produce more Mulus as soon as the Spire completes, because he has a lot of gas in the bank. But TLO's going to have a third base soon, and also being able to mine from it properly. But here we go.
The Banelings separate forwards here for TLO, looking to get connections on his opponent's Banelings, and they get a lot of drones as well. During all of that, the Banelings try and flood forwards here for Shakti, but he's very, very far down in supply. He gets the best connections, I would say, against those Roaches that he possibly could have done, but the reinforcements continue on for TLO.
Look at the supply, 87 to 43. TLO dealt with the aggression in the get-go. Once you commit to something that heavily, you need to do damage. No damage dealt, and GG is called. Game 1 goes to the German.
GG, the TLO. Looking all right there, really responding nicely to his opponent's aggression. But meanwhile, Shakti, again, I gotta kind of give him props for pulling back, but at that point, when you have committed that much to it, even if you pull back and have those units for reserve, it's still difficult to really do anything.
That's right, and a sip of that Red Bull, maybe that will give him some wings to go into the next game.
He's gonna need them. He's
gonna need them because that aggression didn't quite work. Great response from TLO though, very calm, very patient, and just super, super composed there when that attack came out of nowhere. Dealt with it excellently and just swifted forward towards that victory. Excellent start here from TLO.
And next map's going to be Heavy Rain for this series. See if he can advance on 2-0 to play against either Hello Kitty or MC. So we have ZVZ now, guaranteed PvP afterwards, and then guaranteed 2 ZVPs for our next couple of series. But maybe some people out there are like, where are all the Terrans? Well, there's plenty of those in the tournament.
There's plenty of those to come, and some good ones at that as well.
Oh, yeah.
I do think, though, that the lovable one here is absolutely got to be saying to himself, this guy is a little bit scary. You know, got to not cut corners, got to play it safe, just like I did in game 1. He is capable of these types of aggressions. Whether we'll see that on Heavy Rain the next map or not, as long as TLO plays the exact same game as number 1, he will be able to take this game.
Looks pretty relaxed there for a second.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, all he needs to do is make sure he's very, very nicely defended early on, and then he should be looking for that victory.
Yeah. As long as the lazy one just doesn't kind of let anything slip Kalaris, then he is, you know, more than capable to take this series. Like I mentioned before, all the Brazilian players in the main part of this tournament, stage 2, the top 16, they're absolutely all underdogs when it comes to playing against the tier of players that we have here in Sao Paulo. And we'll see if any upsets can occur. Otherwise, it will be as expected.
Yeah, that's right. So, guys, countdown has begun for game number 2. Heavy Rain is our map, as Shakti's trying to bring it back. Or will TLO at the end of this 2-0 be the laughing one? We will have to see as we now get into game number 2. Awesome stuff. Spawning down to the bottom position here as our red Zerg. It is Shakti. And up to the north, we have our blue Zerg. Representing Team Liquid, it's TLO.
I think he should know his pathway to glory, Kalaris, because if not, he would become the lost one. And you know, that's not a place I think he'd like to find himself.
I don't think you want to be lost. I don't think you do.
No, not in Sao Paulo.
No, definitely no. That's a very true statement here, Sean, as we now get into game number 2. All right, well, I think TLO's been having a lot of fun in Sao Paulo so far.
Yeah, actually, he came with me yesterday, with me in Rotterdam,
yeah.
and we were exploring the city with one of Rotterdam's friends, or by proxy Rotterdam's. It was initially Mr. Bitter's friend. Yeah. But, you know, Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam very close. They do share friends and other things.
Yeah.
So it was a friend by proxy. And it was a really good experience. We went around the city. We went to one of the big parks in Sao Paulo. It was very beautiful. We did take some pictures and did the touristy thing. Yeah, it was a really nice day yesterday, actually, we had.
Sounds good.
Watched a lot of the open bracket and then disappeared into the city. Had some Brazilian barbecue, which was absolutely fantastic. I fell in a meat coma immediately. I never ate so much meat in all my life. Rotterdam seemed used to it.
This doesn't surprise me. But there you go.
Well,
I spent a lot of time swimming.
I live in California. Swimming's been great too.
Swimming's good.
All right, both players here have opened up with spawning pool first. So with spawning pool first here, once again, TLO just kind of staying to his own play style, which is in this series going to be the defensive reactionary player, which he exactly was in the previous one. But what does Shakti have up his sleeve here? Obviously, same build so far, pretty much.
Yeah, just grabbing himself that hatchery. And as is the luscious one. So TLO now just mirroring pretty much, although we have the gas going down here for Shakti, just to get that speed out pretty quick and nice.
Yeah.
I'm liking that.
Yeah, I mean, it offers you so much here, but I'm looking at the large one over here, and without any other extractors taken himself, is he changing up the overall strategy or the overall style of his game here, or is he going to take it in a couple of seconds? Obviously, by the looks of it, he's not going to take one. And without taking a gas here, he's going to play a queen heavy style, which is going to be super defensive, very economy focused, will probably go towards double evolution chamber as part of his wall, and then of course to continue upgrading. I think that's the way he's going here. Different style here. Or is it not? No. Okay, he's just taking one gas by himself or by itself.
Some tricky business.
A little bit later on, yeah. So a bit of a different build. Still very queen focused, obviously, because he's been on minerals, so he's got a lot more minerals. It could be a faster third, but you don't want to take a faster third in this kind of scenario because Shakti absolutely still could be aggressive. So it'll be like a 3-queen setup again by TLO.
Well, that's the guarantee, right? That Shakti, if anybody's going to be aggressive here in the opening stages, it's him, because he's going to have that speed out nice and early. But he's not left in gas.
No, which means he cannot get the Baleen Nest down. He obviously can't afford it. But that does mean he can play a very heavy Zergling style. It would take control of the map and take map control overall. And it would potentially allow him to take a third base pretty fast in this game if he was to play that style.
The one thing that we're seeing here is that normally in ZVZ, if you don't get an Overlord in with the Scout, you try to get the 2 Lings in, but he hasn't been able to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't know what TLO's doing at all.
Yeah, so that's a really good block at the ramp there initially for TLO, and he's going for a Spine Crawler, so he knows just as much as we do in terms of how defensively he would have to play because his gas was so late, and he saw his opponent's gas early.
Yeah, well, TLO's still without a Baneling Nest. Should be, well, he's not even starting speed here. Zergling speed. What is he looking to do? What is he looking to do? Obviously, Leia springs to mind immediately here for TLO. Double evolution chamber, so, or 1 first. Is it going to be a second one? He's got the gas that lines up to 2 upgrades at the same time.
Or is he going to try and just commit the gas to Leia and try and go for a Glue Reconstitution time
Yeah,
with +1?
it could be like a +1 attack in rush speed. I mean, there's multiple options. Right now, we're kind of stabbing in the dark.
But
we'll have to find out in a couple of seconds. Where on the other side of things, Shakti with 4 gases being taken, a Leia on its way. He's going to be looking most likely here towards the Spire. With all 4 gases being taken, he's going to have quite a bit of income. He'd be looking at just shy of 400 gas a minute with all 4 gases being taken.
And there's going to be that window for this +1 maybe with Roaches to try and do something whilst that Spire's finishing up or Mutalists are coming out.
Yeah.
So is TLO's economy going to be fine for that? I think so. He's got 42 workers.
Oh, he's got a great economy.
Yeah.
He's very well saturated across both bases. So yeah, that's the way that it looks right now, is that it will be Roach speed, as you said, research straight away. +1 attack will finish roughly the same time as Roach speed. And during that time, there is a large opportunity for TLO to take a really strong fight if we are seeing Mutalisk, which by the looks of it is going to be, there's no evolution chambers down, no Roach Warren. And as long as Shakti does get ready for that kind of sting attack, which could come out from TLO, he's not in the worst of shape, I'd say, right now. Not at all.
I quite like this from Shakti, though, because, him having speed out, he's going to try and pressure this 3rd base. These 2 Queens are going to have to hold on for quite a while. Shakti's trying to put on the pressure. He didn't make too many Lings for this, though. I think he could have probably got the cancellation on this if he'd have made a few more, but it's by the by. He's going to try to just go for the Spire anyway.
Yeah. When you play Spire like this, you have 2 different ways to play it. Very heavy Mutalisk, and then you have to complement it with Banelings to be able to deal with the Hydralisk, for example, or you switch over quite rapidly to double evolution chamber and go to Roaches of your own, and you take an economic advantage. But as we can see, Shakti's not silly, he's not a stupid player. He's smart, he can read into this game. He's got a lot of Lings being made in 3 Spine Crawls, expecting that power punch of +1 attack and Roach speed to join together. As we can see, 10 seconds on the missile attacks. Roach speed is not far away behind.
It's going to help out a whole lot here, but how many Roaches are there actually here to deal with these Zerglings is the big question. They need to get in good positions.
Yeah.
Reinforcing one does get cut off, so it's a bit of a blow here to TLO. He right now can't really do a whole lot in terms of the aggression.
But even if TLO just picks off the 3rd base, that is a victory. You, as a Mutalisk player, you always want to be a base ahead of a player that isn't playing it. Because obviously, if TLO's on 3 bases, that's going to allow him to get a Hydralisk pretty fast and a large counter of them. So ideally, Shakti doesn't want to lose his 3rd base. And he's actually counter-attacking, very smart there. Realizing that TLO was about to move out, which he kind of is. The counter-attack's a smart decision.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely has to, right? He has to get more Roaches over there. There are already some piling down there, but at the same time now, the Mutalists will be out. Yeah. They're going to try and defend this as heavily as possible. Now, does this buy time for TLO enough to defend against this?
Doesn't want to lose his hatch, really. If he can keep the Mutalisk and just do damage to the Roaches to prevent the hatch going down, he's in great shape. And I think TLO should be able to get it if he gets more Roaches coming in.
Yeah, he needs a few more.
Doesn't want to lose his hatch.
They're reinforcing. He might be able to get it.
Doesn't want to lose his hatch.
He's drawing the Mutalisks away. It's so close to actually going down, and I think it will end up falling as Shakti loses that hatchery.
Yeah.
TLO has to just run home.
And that's a goal. That's a big win there for TLO. He just needed to stop that hatch. He's limited his opponent's economy. He's got 7 spores. Does he have enough anti-air to hold off? Because obviously, if he loses his own 3rd base, then the game kind of gets reset. It's back to an equal economy, which would favor the Mutalisk player. These spores are going to finish just in time.
Oh, and he has some energy for transfuses as well to keep those spores alive. So nice defense.
And now TLO's got 10 drones on the way. He's got pathogen glands for the infestors. If these Mutalisks come in to harass, bam! Fungal growth. They get locked down. They get caught by the queens, caught by the spore crawlers. and a limited opportunity here to do damage with these Mutalisks as we see the Infestors now on the way.
Nice position for the Mutalisks to try and do some damage at this position, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot of room. Especially if he flies over a Spore Crawler and takes a bit of damage as well there. Oh, he can't lose a single Mutalisk, otherwise he's going to be down and out.
I have absolutely no idea why the Hive is being constructed right now from Shakti.
Whoa.
He's got no evolution chambers, he's got no upgrades for units. Ultralisk, he doesn't have enough money or upgrades for them. I'm not sure exactly what this is. Obviously, the Hive allows him to go to Vipers in this game, but what really a Viper's going to do in this regard? I mean, I don't know exactly what this is. Is it just going to be unupgraded Ultralisks?
I think so.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah. At this moment, I'm not sure at all what this is. But so far, TLO has his Infestors out. These Mules have to be careful. They cannot harass anymore.
The Zerglings are going to try and flood forwards here, maybe try and catch the Infestors. That's a nice idea from him here, as they did all zone out a lot of them, but there's still Fungals left available. Still Transfuses for the Queens to keep them alive, and the Fungals keep raining down on the Mutas.
Yeah, and 11 more Mulas coming out now. I realize he's just lost quite a lot, so I'm still don't really know what the Hive is for, but still. TLO is defending well. That was a good defense there against the Zerglings. With +1 attack on Roaches, Fungal Growth, and Queens around, it's really difficult to break that player. That is set up defensively.
I think if that attack had gone a bit better with the Zerglings and Mutas, then it would have been for something like an Ultralisk Cavern or something. But it's a little bit hard to tell here for now, as he's sitting in a bad spot.
TLO just scouted that third base and said, "Woohoo! Wee! Yeah!" Like kind of like Mario, because he saw that there's no drones there. That's perfect for him. He knows that was the third base of his opponent. There's no drones there. His opponent's economy is weakened. TLO, ideally from this position, overall, should be sitting back, waiting to get to +2 attack. I mean, even throwing Hydros. I guess Hydros and Infestors are kind of expensive to build both on 3 bases, but just a heavy Roach Hydra combination. I mean, Roach Infestor combination, sorry, and he's in wonderful shape.
Yeah, it's going to run him over, and Shakti needs to find a way back in. These Roaches trying to hunt down some drones where they can, which is very, very nice for them. Any drone kill that they can get and propel TLO on through this game is going to be fantastic. He even gets a Queen, so he's going to deny a lot of the production here from his opponent, and he's buying tons more time.
Well, I think he just saw the Ultralisk Cavern on the natural, and if he didn't kind of see it properly, he definitely saw the Hive. So I think TLO can start to piece this together, but what we'll probably end up seeing is infested Terrans coming out from the Infestors with the energy now, because the Mulists aren't quite as dangerous. There's only 17 of them, and if he uses a couple of Fungals with Queens, I'm a little bit worried for TLO's anti-air. It's not ideal. I mean, 5 Infestors and 9 Queens, it's not too bad.
I really like your point, though, about the Infested Terrans, because they mess the pathing up so bad.
And then the Roaches with +2 attack should shred the Ultras. They don't have any upgrades. The Lings don't have any upgrades. There's nothing.
The Queens are coming along for the party, Sean. They're coming along.
He's got to be careful not to lose the Queens to Lings, though. Obviously, they're kind of key in the defense against the Mutalisk here.
Yeah. Uses the Transfuses, keeps those alive. There's still a little bit of energy to help them out, but the Roaches are going to kill off this third again.
The Infestors on the right-hand side.
Which locks down a lot of those Mutalisks. If he can continue to chain Fungal that, then all those Mutalisks, they are going to end up dying. A few more do break off from the pack, though. They were down to the south, trying to catch them in these out of position, but there's still another Fungal to make those guys absolutely pop. Pop!
They're all gone, and that was a pretty nice attack there from TLO. The Ultra's getting slaughtered immediately, and TLO has really crippled his opponent's economy once again, and chasing down these loose Ultralisks. And they are dying pretty fast here with no Fungals to lock these Roaches in shape, or in their spot, sorry. Look at that, just getting immediately picked off.
This is turning into a bit of a disaster now for Shakti in game number 2. TLO's running amok across these bases, and poor Ultralisks, without their upgrades, aren't able to do a whole lot.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty difficult spot here for Shakti. As you can see, he's been run circles around, and behind this TLO, he's got his own Ultralisk Cavern, because why the hell not? But for now, the Brazilian player does hold off. His economy is still weakened.
What is going on over here, Sean?
I'm not too sure, but these Queens are going to die eventually. And TLO does decide to retreat here, throwing a couple of units away, getting a little bit careless there with his fights. I'm sure he smelled victory there and was just looking to throw anything and everything at his opponent. 3 Queens.
I'm just sitting and watching.
Headbutting away to those Ultralisks. Don't see that too often.
No, not too often at all. And now the Mutalisks are going to try and put on some pressure against TLO, but realistically, there's still no room. Even with those Queens dead, there's still 8 on the field across these 3 bases.
Yeah, it would have been nice if TLO got a 4th base up, because, I mean, look at the supplies. It's not that bad at all, really.
Well, they got Burrow, which is always nice for this queen to keep itself alive. But again, TLO can just split off units where he wants, try and harass. The Mutalisks are actually doing a pretty good job of cleaning things up.
Yeah. But I mean, look at TLO's army he's building. His queens and ultralisks and a few roaches, +3 attack coming in. He has a couple of infestors, but he's going to mostly rely on his queens for anti-air in this scenario. And what he's building is an army of 3 bases, because he knows his opponent's economy is quite crippled too. But is TLO's army going to beat his opponents? Because that's all they're doing. They're not really looking to rapidly speed their economy up. TLO doesn't want to waste units here.
Yeah.
He's going to try and target down the Ultralist. He's going to get a lot of these surrounded. Nice borrow there.
I actually thought until he burrowed there that was a bit of a waste for TLO, but he should be able to get away if he continues this. There must be an Overseer coming along, though. There absolutely must be.
There's 3 just made here. Though, TLO, though, he is playing against an opponent who has 4 bases up and running now. Not really mining from, but up and running.
And his go burrow. Queen has been stranded, and unfortunately that does occur.
Save the queen!
Oh, he's trying. He is trying, and these ones are going to get certainly saved. They have so much energy. Those Mutalisks fall down so quick.
Yeah, Mutalisks just are not good here. The Ultralisks and Lings are going to be key, but as you can see, TLO does have Carapace upgrade finish for his Ultralisks now.
And the thing is if you're being so aggressive with your ranged upgrades, the queens benefit a whole lot as well.
Absolutely.
So
they're just sitting at the back there doing a little bit of extra damage.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Transfuses on the Ultras going to have to come into play here.
+2 Carapace against 0 on these Ultras in favor of TLO. The Mutalisk from the back are actually not doing too bad, and there's a good wraparound here from Shakti. TLO may have overstepped the mark here as Shakti's holding on.
Yeah, he is holding on quite well, isn't he? He's got roaches on the right-hand side, though.
Just kill off that base.
A really scrappy game here, but in the middle of the map, we are at another fight.
I'm not used to seeing this Ultra versus Ultra thing, Sean. It's a bit weird.
But with the amount of roaches right behind it, the Transfuses available, the Lings without upgrades, the Ultras for Shakti without upgrades. A bit of a weird game, this one. And it looks like TLO finally may be able to break the front door.
Yeah, he's got himself in a great spot now. Those Ultralisks getting focused down left and right. TLO's remaining alive up until the very last one. And well, this third base being sat on means it's GG, and TLO advances on to round number 2.
I think that was a little bit closer than what he expected it to be, but 2-0 in favor of TLO. He goes directly into the winner's match of Group B and will be playing up against the winner of Hello Kitty and MC. A good effort here from the Brazilian. Good effort indeed. In Game 1, we saw him play quite aggressive there. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull it off in Game 2. It was a decent game for him there. Definitely put up a strong fight.
Very well played there. And now, as you say, our next match going to be Hello Kitty versus MC. This Brazilian, though, Shakti, not out of the running just yet. He's going to play against the loser of MC or Hello Kitty. But either that you get there is a bit of a tough spot. Yeah. I must say that the Fnatic Academy players, as of late, have been doing great, really bringing their games on leaps and bounds. We see their Fnatic players like Zanster and Mini Razor advancing through to WCS, trying to qualify through Challenger. Yeah. And now Hello Kitty, we're going to get to see how he's been doing.
We will get to see how he's been doing. There is Shakti, a bit of a smile there. I think he went over to TLO's booth to congratulate him on his first victory of 2014 in Major Tournament. And even the crowd out there as well, giving an applause to both players, as TLO is now in the winner match.
So, good job by TLO. Moves one step further forwards to get that round of 8 spot. And now, guys, after the break, we're going to have MC versus Hello Kitty, cast by none other than Rotterdam and Todd. So we'll see you right after this.